Hello students, good morning. I'm back again to continue our class from where we left last time. That is, we finished with the types of stipules where I had mentioned to you about the types of stipules, and I also had given you the example of hibiscus cannabis in my last class, wherein I had told you how it looks, and it is an example for classical type of stipules called as the free lateral stipules. Today we are going to go further on to know the different types of stipules along with their examples. So then we have got the scaly stipules. Scaly, as the name itself suggests, the stipules are actually converted into a scaly form. That is, they are in the form of a small scales, like a flattened appendages. Okay. Example for that is Cassia fistula. It is also called as the golden shower tree, and its common name in Kannada is Kekke. Okay. So this one is the one which shows the scaly stipules. Next one is the adnate. For adnate, they are going to be seen mostly in the rose plants. Okay, so today I have collected the sample of the rose here. Now if you look at this particular sample, what you will notice is that this particular leaf having the petiole and the lamina is actually broken down, so it's a type of a compound leaf. And you can also make out the leaf lamina is serrated. Now if you can see that there is this stipule which is protruding out from the base of the stipule, so the base of the petiole on the either side. Okay, I'll show you one more sample. This gives you a better view because the other one did have a small leaflet coming at the base of the petiole. So if you look at it, now this particular thing which is actually attached to a petiole to a certain height, and yet you see the two lateral appendages on the either side, this type of a stipule is called as the adnate stipule, which is very common in case of rose and groundnut. Interpetiolar, also called as ixora. So the interpetiolar or the ixora, see what is this interpetiolar? Okay, interpetiolar means the stipules are present in between the petiole and the stem. So it will look something like this. So if this is the stem, okay, so if the petiole is beginning here and one more petiole is beginning here, we will see it here in between, here. Okay, in between the two petioles, we will see the stipule. Such a stipule is called as interpetiolar. What is it called? Interpetiolar. Now if you take another one, that is intrapetiolar. Now when you say an intrapetiolar, they will be present in between each petiole and the stem. So if these are the two petioles on the opposite sides, at the base of it we will find the stipules. At the base of it, attached to the stem. Please don't get confused with the free lateral stipules. The free laterals are not attached to the stem, but here the stipules which are present between the petiole and the stem gets attached to the stem. This is intrapetiolar. Okay, so this is interpetiolar and this is intrapetiolar. Example for interpetiolar is ixora. And intrapetiolar is gardenia. Gardenia is very commonly present in almost all the homes in Bengaluru and also in our parts of Karnataka. It's very commonly called as nanjbatlu. If you see a nanjbatlu plant, please understand that it is an example for intrapetiolar stipules. Then coming to the foliaceous, as the name itself suggests, foliaceous means what? leaf-like. When the stipules have an appearance of a leaf, then we call it as foliaceous stipules. Example for this is Lathyrus odoratus. Lathyrus odoratus common name is sweet pea. It's also called as wild pea sometimes. And pea normal, that is Pisum sativum, that is Batani. So if you look at those plants, you will see a foliaceous stipules. Next we have got the ocreate. Now I need to draw and show you how an ocreate actually looks. Now ocreate is a kind of a hollow tube which is formed from the nodal region to certain height of the stem like this. It's a hollow tube. It's a hollow tube which is formed from the nodal region of the stem to a certain height of the stem, and this kind of a hollow tube arising from the node and reaching to being in between the internodes, we call it as ocreate. An example for such a stipule is polygonum. Next example is spinous. Sometimes in some plants these stipules are modified into spines. Now why are they modified into spines? Because it doesn't want the plant to be grazed by some herbaceous animals. So in order to avoid the grazing animals, in certain plants the stipules are modified into spine. Example for this is acacia. Here today I have got the sample of acacia here, wherein I can show you how exactly the stipules are modified into a spine. Students, please have a closer look. What you can see is this is a compound leaf because a single lamina is broken down into several leaflets, or also called as a pinna. What is a simple leaf and a compound leaf? I will explain to you in the next coming classes. But right now, acacia is an example for a compound leaf. Now, this is a complete compound leaf having a rachis, and these are all called as the pinna. Okay, since it is broken down, since there is 3 times the lamina is broken down, it is called as tripinnate. Okay, this is a tripinnate example for tripinnate plant. Now, please look at here. The petiole, is the base of the leaf. Here you can see a spine. Can you see 2 spines on the opposite sides, which are supposed to be stipules? Okay, students, which are supposed to be stipules, but they are definitely modified into a very sharp, prickly, quite painful to pick up the sample. So this is what is called as the spinous stipule. Okay, so this is a modification. This is actually an acacia tree, which is almost present everywhere in Bengaluru actually. So that is about the acacia. Then coming to the tendril. In tendril, the stipules are modified into a wire long thread-like structures. These wire long thread-like structures helps in climbing of the tree, helps the tree or the plant when it is having a weaker stem, when it needs that mechanical support. Example for a tendril modification of a stipule is smilax. So this concludes the topic on stipules, and now we move on to a next topic called as Phyllotaxy. What is this phyllotaxy? Phyllotaxy is the study of arrangement of leaves on the stem. Study of arrangement of leaf on the stem is called as phyllotaxy. Now this phyllotaxy is very important in classification of the plant, especially as an identification. It is very important. So today we are going to talk a little more about phyllotaxy. Arrangement of leaves on the stem is known as phyllotaxy. So basically there are 3 types of phyllotaxy which we are going to notice in nature. One of them is opposite. one is whorl, and the third one is alternate. Okay. So now first we talk about the opposite. Opposite means, see here, the leaves midrib is modified into a very strong woody structure called as the rachis sometimes. Okay. But here what happens is, now if you consider this to be the stem, okay, the leaves are arranged opposite to each other like this. Okay. Now when the leaves are arranged opposite to one above the other, like a rungs of the ladder, when they are arranged to one above the other, now if you consider this to be a ladder, one above the other like this, okay, then we call it as superposed. Opposite, superposed. What do we call it as? Superposed type of arrangement. Superposed. So when you look at the plant from the above, you will be seeing two lines of leaves like that. Okay. So that is superposed. Example for this is ixora. Okay. Example for this is ixora. Then we have got one more type in the opposites itself. It is called opposite decussate. So what happens in opposite decussate is, suppose if this is a stem, one leaf will be here, another will be in the opposite direction. So when you look from the top of the plant, you will be able to see one pair like this, another pair like this. Okay. So one pair in one direction, another pair in another direction. Such an arrangement we call it as decussate. An example for this is calotropis. Calotropis in Kannada means yekka. Yekkadelle, if you go see anywhere, if you go out, please make a note. And if you see yekkadelle, you will be able to appreciate the decussate type of Phyllotaxy. Next is whorl. Whorl here means it is in the form of a rounded structure. The leaves are arranged in the form of a rounded structure from one particular point. So suppose if this is the point, leaves and all arise from that point itself, forming giving a kind of a whorled appearance. Now this is whorled. Okay. So there is if this is a stem, the leaves are arranged in the form of a circle at one particular nodal region. Then there is again the internode region, then another whorl, and another whorl is formed at a certain other distance at the particular node. Example for whorl is your oleander. Oleander is kanigle. Okay, red kanigle, kempu kanigle. If you see, you will be able to appreciate the whorled type of Phyllotaxy. Next, alternate. Alternate is very simple. It is also called as spiral Phyllotaxy. This is very extensively seen in shoe flower, that is hibiscus. Now when you take a twig of the hibiscus and hold it in your hand and press and pass a string of thread over it, it's just going to spiral down into it. So the leaves are arranged in a spiral fashion. How are they arranged? The leaves are arranged in a spiral fashion. So if this is the stem, it is arranged like this. I will not be drawing the exact leaves of the shoe flower, but this is just for your understanding. Okay. So when you pass a string, it will spiral. See, it's in the form of a spiral. So this is called as the alternate Phyllotaxy. With this, we are now going to move on to a very important, very interesting aspect of the leaf. Okay. So students, till now we finished with stipules, then we finished with Phyllotaxy, types of Phyllotaxy and its example, and now we are going to move on to a very important subject called as the venation. venation. Okay. Now what is this venation? See, in my last class itself, when I was explaining to you the structure of the lamina, I told you that there is something called as a venation. That is nothing but the arrangement of the veins and the veinlets. Okay. Venation is the study of the arrangement of veins and veinlets on the leaf lamina. Okay. Now, why does this, what is the whole point of studying venation? Why should we study venation? There are several reasons why we should study, because venation is very important for a plant to survive. As you know, the venation has got the very important vascular tissues present in them, that is the xylem and phloem. Xylem conducts water and phloem conducts the nutrition in the form of starch, mineral nutrition. So, every part of the leaf is connected through these two vasculature, through these veins or the veinlets. So, it takes part of all these things. Next, it provides a mechanical support, that is, it provides the skeletal support. Say, suppose if you take this now, if I just give you an example of the rose flower which we studied for the adnate stipules. Say, if even though the leaf is actually wilted here because I have plucked it from the plant, you can still see the other leaf standing straight, correct? Now, why is the other leaf standing straight? Because of the presence of the veins and the veinlets. Now, in this, you can very prominently see a particular one line, right, going where the petiole is merging into it, where the petiole merges. The vein in which the petiole merges is called as the midrib. It's the main vein, okay, principal vein or the midrib, which further branches to give rise to various small structures called as the veinlets. So, this is what we are going to study today. Now, this venation as such has got many types of venations which we are going to say. So, we are also going to learn about the classification of the venation. So, how do I classify the venation? See, basically, there are two types of venation which we are going to notice in nature. One is reticulate venation. Another one is the parallel venation. Okay. Now, under reticulate venation, we have got two types. That is unicostate and multicostate. The multicostate is further divided into convergent and divergent. So first we will look into the reticulate venation and then we will go on to the parallel venation. Okay. So what is this reticulate venation? As the name reticulate means mesh-like, mesh. It is in the form of a mesh, or it is in the form of a network. What is it? It is in the form of a network, which is very common in case of dicotyledonous plants. So basically very common in dicotyledonous plants, but there are certain exceptions where there are some three monocot plants like Smilax, Dioscorea, and aroids. Okay, these three, students, please make a note. I will just put it in a different color. Aroids, Smilax, and Dioscorea. All these three things are three plants are actually monocots, but still showing the reticulate venation. So they form the exceptions for the rule. Okay. Having said this, now we are going to move into a different word here, that is unicostate and multicostate. Unicostate, as the name itself suggests, uni means one, costate means only one leaflet. Okay, single leaflet. For example, our hibiscus. If you look into hibiscus, there is only single leaf. There is no other what you can say, variation in it. So that is unicostate. Multicostate, wherein more than one lamina is going to arise from a particular single leaflet. More than one lamina is going to arise from a single leaflet. Example for convergent is reticulate, multicostant, convergent is citrus. Not citrus, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So the reticulate, multicostate, convergent. Okay, reticulate, multicostate, convergent is, example is cinnamon. Okay, cinnamon andre chekke. Cinnamon is example for multicostate, convergent. Then we have got multicostate, reticulate, multicostate, divergent. Example is castor andre haralu. Example is castor. This one is cinnamon. Okay, cinnamon, castor, and example one more can for convergent is ziziphus. Ziziphus. Okay, then here castor and cucumber. Okay, so we will have a reticulate, venation, unicostate. Example you can take as hibiscus, mango, banyan. Banyan, okay. Then you got multicostant, divergent is castor and cucumber. So this is about the reticulate venation. Next, now after reticulate venation, we go in for the parallel venation. Again, in parallel venation also we are going to see similar thing, wherein we are going to have for our convenience we will write it this side, unicostate, foliate we are going to call here, unicostate and multicostate. Okay. Under unicostate example, classical example is banana. Then multicostate again is of two types, that is convergent and divergent. Okay. Convergent example is grass and wheat. Divergent is fan palm. Okay. So now what is this parallel venation? So when you look at a banana leaf, it has got the midrib which is very long, strong and all those things, and you will see this becomes the principal vein, and from the veins the veinlets are going to arise in a parallel manner like this. They are parallel like this. Since a single leaf is present in case of banana leaf, a single banana leaf is there here, which we are noticing, which you all know. There is only single lamina present, or the leaf blade is present. That's why we call it as unicostate. When it comes to multicostate, parallel venation, convergent, I'll show you an example of the grass which I have collected. Yeah, look. If you can see what is happening here, all the veins are running parallel to each other and they are all converging at one point. See the tip, right? they are all converging, and there are multiple midrib like structures, multiple, quite strong, but of course there's one which is prominent, but there are other ones also which is running parallel to the midrib, and we consider this to be a multicostate parallel venation convergent in nature. Example for this is wheat or grass. Okay, here today I am showing you the grass, which is showing the parallel multicostate convergent parallel venation. Next, we are going to go on to the divergent type of multicostate divergent fan palm. Fan palm is usually seen any of the, if you have been out on some park or something like that, it is used as a landscaping plant actually. So you can see literally the leaves will be in the form of a fan. You can actually fan yourself in it. So it's a type of a gymnosperm. So that is what is an example for multicostate divergent. So this is about venation. I will just summarize again. Venation is of two types. One is the reticulate venation and parallel venation. Reticulate venation is mostly mesh-like or the network-like. It is mainly seen in case of dicotyledonous plants. But there are some three exceptions where monocots also show a reticulate venation. Example is smilax, Dioscorea and aroids. Now the reticulate venation is further classified into unicostate and multicostate based on the type of number of laminas the leaf is broken into. Uni means single, multicostate means more than one. So under multicostate there are two types, it is convergent and divergent. Multi-reticulate unicostate example includes your banana, banyan, mango. Okay, whereas a multicostate convergent example is cinnamon and ziziphus, and a multicostate divergent reticulate is example is castor, haralenne, gida, okay, and also our cucumber. Next, coming to the parallel venation, where the midrib, the midrib is always straight and the veinlets are in parallel position to each other, and this is extensively seen in case of monocots. Then again it is classified into unicostate and multicostate. Unicostate example is banana, multicostate convergent is grass and wheat, and multicostate divergent is the fan palm, which is used in case of the landscaping in many of the gardens. So with this we finish about what is venation. Then we are going to go on to the next very important aspect in case of leaf. It is called as the simple leaf and the compound leaf. So we are going to talk about types of leaves. Okay. There are two types of leaves. Okay. One is the simple leaf. The other one is the compound leaf. Okay. The simple leaf, as the name itself suggests, it's only one leaf. The lamina is not broken, but shows variation in serrations. Okay. Compound leaf, more than one leaf. Lamina is broken into many subdivisions or sub-leaflets. Lamina is broken into several leaflets, or we can also call it as pinnae. Okay. Then does not show much of the variation in serrations. So this is about the compound leaf and the simple leaf. Simple leaf, again, classical example which I have been stating from the time I started with the stipule. Example is hibiscus. And compound leaf, we need to know more about it, okay? It's not just one thing here. We need to know the classification of the compound leaf. I do have some samples for you to see, and I will also give you the definition of the compound leaf in a little more detail. So today I have got an example for our compound leaf here. So here, if you know, students, this is a whole leaf actually. This is a single leaf, alright? But this single leaf, the lamina, which should have been this big basically, has been broken down into smaller segments. Now these segments which are going to see here, these are the leaf segments, are also called as a pinna, okay? Now this pinna also has got, see, they are attached to this main axis now. This main axis where the midrib is converted into a very strong green structure which looks similar to stem but not stem is called as the rachis. What is it called? Rachis. So the leaflets are borne on a structure called as the rachis. Now we are going to learn about the classification of the compound leaf. How do we classify it? Okay. So we are going to classify the compound leaves into following types. Compound leaf is classified into two types. Pinnately compound and palmately compound. Under pinnately compound, we have got certain other things, certain other types which we are going to see is unipinnate, bipinnate, unipinnate, bipinnate, tripinnate and decompound. What we call it as decompound. Under palmately compound leaf, we have got unifoliate, bifoliate, trifoliate and multifoliate, also called as digitate. Quadrifoliate also we can call it. It is multifoliate or also called as digitate. Okay. So first we will look into the pinnately compound leaf. So now, right now, whatever I showed you here, students, this is a pinnately compound leaf. What is it? It is a pinnately compound leaf showing a rachis, okay, a long running rachis, and the leaflets are arranged on the opposite sides, okay. They are actually opposite superposed. If you look down, see, if you look from the above, you will just see two rows of leaves on the either side of the rachis. So this is an example for unipinnate, okay, because there are single leaves on the either side. The lamina is only broken once, so I have got a single rachis, not broken out into two. So since it is broken into only one, we call it as a unipinnate. Now first we will learn more about this unipinnate itself. Now again, this unipinnate is of two types. Okay, the unipinnate is again of two types. One is peripinnate and another one is imperipinnate. Peripinnate, imperipinnate. Now, an example, whatever I showed you right now, see, if I am going to count the number of leaves present till the end, you can see till the tip is ending with the two leaves, correct? When the tip is ending with the two leaves, it is a even number of leaflets, correct? When there is even number of leaflets present on the main rachis of the leaf, we call it as peripinnate. Suppose there is uneven number, like with the sample whatever I am showing you right now. Here, if you look into this particular sample, see, I have got uneven number of pinna here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the tip of the rachis is actually ending with a leaf. So this is imperipinnate. So students, you can very easily remember the peripinnate. It is even number of leaflets ending with two leaflets at the end of the rachis. Whereas it is odd number of leaflets are present, the leaflet will be present in the end. There is only one will be there. One leaflet will be there at the end of the rachis. So this is about the examples for peripinnate and this is about the unipinnate, wherein they are classified into peripinnate and imperipinnate. Example for peripinnate, okay. Peripinnate is the one which I have shown you, is also called as cassia. Then the example tamarind, okay, example is tamarind. Imperipinnate is example rose. See, rose also I showed you for that adnate type of stipules. Now see again here also you can see the rose is having how many? 5. Again it is imperipinnate type of compound leaf. Okay. There neem is also an example for imperipinnate. Next we are going to go for the bipinnate. Okay. Bipinnate, here example for bipinnate is acacia. So here I have the acacia plant also for you to show. I will show you with the other one also. Students see. Now, this is unipinnate because there is a single rachis and there is no bifurcation of this rachis into another rachis. Okay. But here if you see in acacia, what has happened is, this is a main stem. Onto the main stem, there is one rachis, and again that rachis is broken down into further other rachilis. So since there is two breaking down of the leaf lamina into two times, one the main rachis and one more the small ones here, and you can see the small tiny leaves attaching to that particular rachilis. That is why we call it as bipinnate. An example for this is acacia, Australian acacia. I'll come to Australian acacia later for what it is an example for. Next, the tripinnate is moringa. Okay. Now, what is moringa? Example of moringa is nugge soppu. Very, very important. Very having a lot of health benefits when we have moringa powder and things like that. So it also helps in maintaining the blood sugar levels. So example for that is tripinnate. Example for tripinnate is moringa. Okay, moringa. Remember this. Then we have got decompound. Decompound is there where the lamina is not actually broken, not properly able to bifurcate it, you know. See, I have taken an example of Parthenium heterocarpus here, which is growing very extensively everywhere. It's also commonly called as Congress Gida. So this particular plant, you see, can I see anything as a main midrib? No, the midrib is actually broken into so many other things. So this one is an example of decompound. Another example for decompound leaf is carrot, coriander. Okay. So, but they are also going to come under the pinnately compound leaf. Okay. So I will repeat pinnately compound leaves once again for you. I'll show you this particular thing. So Pinna. When the lamina is broken down into smaller leaflets, we call it as pinna. And here I am showing you the unipinnate. This is unipinnate, peripinnate. This is peripinnate compound leaf. This is an example of peripinnate compound leaf. And then we have the imperipinnate compound leaf. Example is rose, because it is ending with one of the leaflet at the top and having an odd number of leaflets in them. Then we have bipinnate. Example for bipinnate is acacia. So here I told you there is this rachis and then there is rachis. Okay, so the lamina is broken down into two, and this is an example for bipinnate. Tripinnate is example of moringa. Okay, example is moringa, where you can see three pinna being present. The three breaking down into three parts. Okay. Then the last one is the decompound. Example is coriander, carrot, and Parthenium heterocarpus. Okay. So with this, we finish the pinnately compound leaf. Next, we come into palmately compound leaf. See, the palmately compound leaf is completely different from pinnately compound leaf. Palmately, something which looks like your palm. Okay, it looks just like your palm. So if you place your palm on that particular leaf, you will be able to appreciate it better. So it looks just like your palm. Since it looks just like your palm, they call it as palmately compound leaf. Again, we have got different types here. We have got unifoliate. There is only one. Example for this is citrus. So if you look into the citrus leaf, that is Nimbe hannina. Nimbe hannina yele. So how does the citrus leaf look? It has got one big leaf like this, and there is some kind of another abnormal leaf growing like this. Okay, if you have noticed properly, if anybody of you have got citrus in your backyard or anywhere you are accessible to that particular plant, go pick it up and see. It looks like this. This is again some kind of a folia or the foliace. Okay, so since there is a difference, this is abnormal leaf growth. Example for the unifoliate. Bifoliate is that, say suppose if this is the stem and this is the petiole, the two petiole will be there, and two leaves are going to arise from a single petiole like this. I mean, from a single node. Now, if this is the node, two leaves are going to arise on the either side, and this is called as bifoliate. Okay, what is it called? Bifoliate. Example for the bifoliate is balanitis. Okay, so example for unifoliate is citrus. Example for bifoliate is balanites. Okay, then coming to the trifoliate, wherein we can see three leaflets arising from one petiole like this. Three leaflets arising from one petiole. Example for this is agale. Okay, agale. Then we have got quadrifoliate or multifoliate. I have got one quadrifoliate thing here. It might be Marsilia, but I am not sure of it. Okay, so this is the, you can check out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is more than 4. So we call it as multifoliate or digitate. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Example maybe bombex. Okay, remember for multifoliate is bombex, but this is not a bombex sample. But this, I'm just showing you how a palmately compound leaf will look. So see, it's looking just like a palm. Now if I keep it like this, it looks just like a palm. So this is called as the palmately compound leaf. So I will repeat again for your understanding with the examples. Palmately compound leaf, there are 3 to 4 types. Unifoliate, example is citrus. Bifoliate, example is balanitis. Trifoliate, example is agale. Then multifoliate or digitate, I call it as example is bombex. So this is about the 2 types of leaf, that is the simple leaf and the compound leaf. Compound leaf is classified into pinnately compound and palmately compound. Pinnately compound is unipinnate, bipinnate, tripinnate and decompound. Unipinnate is further classified into parapinnate and imparipinnate. Palmately compound leaf is divided into unifoliate, bifoliate, trifoliate, multifoliate, also called as the digitate. So with this, we also come to an end of the types of leaf. Okay. So now we are going to go further into the modifications of the leaves. So in my next class of leaf, we are going to learn about the modifications of the leaf. Modifications of leaf for various functions. Okay, various functions. It can be various functions like storage. Okay, it can be for the sake of storage. It can be for the sake of nutrition. Nutrition by the way of assimilating the nitrogen, wherein they become literally insectivorous or carnivorous plants. They can also be having an adaptation of converting it into spines for checking the rate of transpiration, especially in case of the cactus or the desert plants. Then they can also have certain modifications for giving them mechanical support for climbing. Okay, so basically for mechanical support. So in my next class, I am going to talk to you about how the leaves are modified for bringing about the major functions of storage, storage of food, nutrition to assimilation of the nutrition in the form of nitrogen in case of insectivorous and carnivorous plants, and modification of the leaves into spine for checking the rate of transpiration in desert plants, and also for getting a mechanical support through climbing, wherein the leaves are modified into tendrils for the sake of climbing. So in my next class, I look forward to finish all this and also summarize the complete study on leaf. Okay. Hope you have understood this class, and you can differentiate between pinnately compound leaf and palmately compound leaf, and also have a fair idea about how stipules look, and also get an idea about what is the spines of the acacia, so that you can remember that the modification of the stipules in the form of spine example is acacia. Thank you, students. Have a great day, and do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.